Video today covering scopes for a Ruger Gunsite Scout Rifle, scope options here, and some considerations. The Scout Rifle with the forward-mounted rail is made to accept something like this. This is a Leupold intermediate eye relief fixed power scope, about a 2 power. Kind of a fun scope. I'll talk about that in just a minute. Or if you want to take off the rear sight, which sits here, Ruger included factory rings, like they do with most of the rifles, to mount a scope. So I kind of like low power scopes because they're basically they do 90% of what you need for anything in the field, and I like it because they're small. Well, small turned out to be very important here. I'm going to zoom in and show you. See the clearance between the front objective and the rail? I was worried about that, and that turned out to be pretty important. So typically, classic hunting rifle scope is 3 to 9 power with a 40mm front objective. Well, that's not going to fit in the current configuration. There's a couple easy options. One would be to pull this rail off, and then the other option would be to return to Ruger these medium rings and get high rings. So either one is good. I didn't really like either one of them, and I wanted a low power scope, so this worked out for me. Just for your information, take a set of calipers and you measure that front objective. You're looking at approximately 1.575 inches. So anything bigger, anything larger in diameter is not going to fit without one of those two fixes, either taking the rail off or getting different rings. The forward eye release scope is pretty cool. It's part of the Scout Rifle concept. You know, the Scout Rifle concept is a light carbine that has a hard-hitting round, detachable box magazine, and then forward eye release scope, because they're supposed to be very quick, very instinctual for shooting, and that they are very quick. I'm not sure if they are any faster than a traditional scope once you've practiced with both. It is fun to shoot with one of these. It's almost like having a pair of telescopic iron sights. It's kind of the best of both worlds. You're really limited to a lower magnification. Probably point blank range on this rifle is somewhere over 200 yards. Definitely not 300 yards. So if you're going to keep your shots close in, I don't really think you need a whole lot of magnification for shots that far out. And really the problem with shots further than that with this rifle is that the ballistics on the bullets coming out, you're going to be dropping fast with any shot longer than about 250 yards. So what you need is some way to hold over, and this scope is really not geared towards accurate holdover. Traditional scopes are fun. Like I said, I don't think they're any slower once you practice with them compared to the Scout scope here. Maybe that's subject to debate. I like them also because this is fixed power, and the 2 power, 2.5 power works fine. 2 to 7, sometimes it's nice to zoom in. I think really a 2 to 7 scope gives you about 90% of what you need for hunting situations. I go deer hunting, and I've only ever really zoomed in beyond 7 power once. So I don't think you're handicapping yourself at all with the smaller scope, and it's lighter. It's lighter than some of the bigger scopes, so the rifle stays handier. Another benefit of a forward eye relief scope is that you have more access to the receiver area as compared to the traditional scope. And then one of the concepts with Scout Rifle is backup iron sights, and Ruger supplies front and rear sight. The rear sight goes here. So if you were to get, say, quick detach rings for your Scout scope, and the Scout scope were to fail, you could take the Scout scope off and still have iron sights. A lot of the people who like Scout rifles like that. To do a traditional scope, you do have to remove that rear sight to get the scope into place. Anyway, that about wraps this up. Concepts with this video were Make sure if you're going to mount a traditional style scope to pay attention to the diameter of this front objective here. Otherwise you will run into problems. Those problems are easily solved either by taking off this front rail. I haven't done it, but it looks like it'd be doable. Or returning rings to Leupold and getting high rings. Probably also not a problem. It just takes a little bit of time. And then your other option is to get a forward eye relief scope and mount it into place, which is another fine option and also very fun.